Hey everyone, welcome to Meeple Bits. Thanks for joining me. So I don't have a fun introduction for the game that we're going to go through today, which is Sushi Go. I'll tell you what, the days have come, the days are shorter now that winter's upon us here in the States, and it's starting to get a little bit colder outside, so more time is going to be spent indoors, playing probably heavier weight games, longer type games. So for this week, I wanted to bring you something simple, something light, something easy, something that I would put into the breadth of a filler type game. And today that's Sushi Go. So join me as we go through a quick setup and playthrough of the card drafting game Sushi Go. Hi everyone, welcome back to a setup and playthrough of Sushi Go. Before we begin, let's go ahead and address the different types of cards so that we understand exactly what we're drafting for on our path to victory. The game is played over 3 rounds, where the player at the end of 3 rounds with the most accrued points from their draft hand is declared the winner. Scoring takes place at the end of each of the 3 rounds, and then one final scoring for the dessert. So the different types of cards that are going to come out and the different types of scoring that happen, let's go over those now so that we know what we're trying to accomplish on our path to victory. So we've got wasabi cards, we've got maki roll cards like this, whereby a player that drafts this, at the end of the round, the player with the most maki cards, or the maki rolls, as indicated up on the upper hand, so this is 2 maki rolls, the player with the most scores 6 points, and the player with the second most scores 3. In the case of a tie, the player will then split the points evenly. So if there's a tie for first place, the 2 first place players would split 6 points and each acquire 3, with second place also receiving their full 3 points. If there's a second place tie, the second place would split the 3 points and discard the remainder. So each would receive 1 point in a 3-player game. So if there's a 3-way tie, for example, then each player would get 1 victory point. In the case of a 4-way tie, first place and second place as an example, each one would split the victory points. So first place tie would each receive 3, and second place tie each would receive 1 in this example. The next type is tempura. Tempura cards are scored when you have 2 of them drafted in your hand, and only 2. Individually, tempura is worth nothing, so you actually need to acquire 2 of them, like so, in order to get the double points. Well, let's draft it this way. There we go. So now if I have 2 tempura, that's worth 5 victory points. Sashimi. Like tempura, you need a lot of them. And you're going to need 3 sashimi to acquire 10 victory points. So you'll need to get 3 of these drafted into your hand in a single round in order to accrue 10 points. Dumplings. Dumplings by themselves are pretty simple. You get 1 victory point, but it gets increased in value as the game goes on. So in that round, if you happen to accrue 2 dumplings, you would receive 3 victory points, 3 worth 6, 4 worth 10, and if you manage to draft 5 dumplings into your hand in a single round, that's worth 15 points. Nigiri. Nigiri are scored in 2 ways. 1, by themselves, this nigiri is worth 3 victory points, as indicated by the number here. But the next card, the wasabi, it makes your next nigiri worth triple the points. Example, if you draft a nigiri, then if you draft a wasabi, then the next drafted nigiri must be played on top or dipped in the wasabi, making it worth triple points. So this 3 nigiri would be worth 9 points, or if I drafted a 1, it must be placed on top of the wasabi, it would then be worth 3 points. If you've already drafted out a nigiri and then draft a wasabi, you cannot put the wasabi on an already drafted nigiri. Keep that in mind when trying to pick which card you want to draft at any given time. The next card type, chopsticks. For chopsticks, what you're going to do is, if this comes around on the card draft, you can put it down, face down in front of you, and then on a subsequent turn, you can actually pick it back up into the hand that you have, and then draw out 2 cards of your choosing before passing. And then lastly, pudding. Pudding is for end game scoring. Pudding at the end of the game, the person who has amassed the most pudding over the course of 3 rounds will receive 6 victory points. The person with the least amount of pudding will lose 6 victory points. If there's any ties, similar to the Maki rolls, the tie will split the victory points. So if 2 players are tied for first, they would each get 3. If 3 players are tied, they would each get 2. But the person in last would get the -6. If 2 people are tied for last, they would also split that -6. So if 2 people, say, have 1 pudding or no pudding, they would each, say, lose -3. And that's it, guys. Pretty simple, straightforward. That's how you're going to do the card draft of Sushi Go. Draft the cards as strategically as possible to try to amass the most points on your round, while also keeping in mind that there is a pudding game that you have to kind of account for towards the end of the game. The game is played over 3 rounds, and in each of the different play types, you're going to deal out a certain number of cards. In a 5-player game, each player will receive 7 cards per round. 4-player game, 8 cards. 3-player game, 9 cards. And in a 2-player game, 10 cards. Each round ends after all cards have been passed and played. In this card drafting game, when you receive the final card, you're not discarding it like in some types. In this one, the last card that gets passed to you is your final play. And that's it. That's Sushi Go. So in this demo, I've set up, I've dealt out for a 3-player game, so there are 3 decks with 9 cards each. Let's see how that gets played. Let me clean up the table just a little bit and then dive right in. So if you just came for the quick tutorial, you can go ahead and leave the video now. The setup is already complete, and that's a brief explanation. So card drafting, let's go ahead and dive in. This will be player 1, this will be player 2, this will be player 3. So player 1, they're gonna grab their hand, take a quick peek at what all is out there. Ooh, some 3X on the, a lot of nigiri, some wasabi. You know what, I like this wasabi for ×3. Oh, there we go, let's do it that way. So I'm gonna draft this one. And then I would pass this hand to my left. Player 2, also doing the same thing. They're looking at what's in the hand. 1 dumpling, 1 wasabi, ooh, a 3. They're gonna play Maki rolls. That's what they're gonna try for first. They would pass this to player 3, and then this hand, player 3, will become player 1 in just a moment. Let's see what this person has. You know what, this looks pretty good. Let's go with the Maki roll for player 3 as well. And that's it. Once all players have reserved the card, all players then will flip their cards over, revealing what they've selected or drafted. There we go. So player 1, player 2, player 3. And then the round repeats. So now player 1 receives this hand. Let's see. Now remember, the next nigiri that I draft becomes ×3 because I have to put it on the wasabi. But 6 points is not too bad, so I'm going to go ahead and draft that one. Passing this one over there. Come to me. Okay. And then player 2, again, looking at all these Maki rolls, they look pretty good. They're probably going to try to command that very early on. So let's grab that for them. And then player 3 and their draft. What looks good here? Well, since we got 2 players that went in there, and he only has some singles on this one, he might try to switch up his strategy just a little bit and try for some sashimis. There we go. And then this hand will get passed here to player 1. And then all players reveal. So, player 1, revealing that they've got a nigiri, will play it on top of their wasabi, making that worth 6 points. Let's go ahead and do it like that. There we go. Player 2 reveals that they've drafted more Maki rolls, placing it on top like so. Now they have 6 total Maki rolls. And then player 3 revealing that they've drafted Sashimi. Continuing on. So we're going to continue drafting out these cards until the entire hand gets dealt out. All right, let's see. Well, looking that they're fighting over the Maki rolls, I'm not really going to mess with that. No one's drafted any dumplings, so let me go ahead and do that one first. So draft a dumpling, pass the hand, grab the next one. I see that he's going for some sashimi, and I don't want to pass him these two, so I'm going to have to reserve a sashimi to try to block that player. Pass the hand, and then player 3. The nigiri looks pretty okay. There's no wasabi for me to stack on top, but I can tie now player 1 by drafting this one, which I'm going to go ahead and do. And then all players reveal again. So I'm going to reveal my dumplings. They're going to reveal their sashimi. And third player is going to reveal more Maki rolls, placing on top like so. Okay, guys, round and round the game continues until the entire round, or the hand is dealt, or sorry, that all cards are then drafted, and then round 1 ends. You're going to take a score and then deal out in this 3-player game 9 cards again to all players and continue the round once again. Anyway, guys, that's Sushi Go. Pretty straightforward. Stay tuned for my afterthoughts, and I'm going to go ahead and clean up the table. Thanks, guys. Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that quick setup and playthrough of the game Sushi Go. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. I'm happy to answer them. Anyway, let's dive into my afterthoughts of this one. I like Sushi Go for a couple of reasons, because one, as I've probably mentioned in a few of my other videos, is that it's a nice little filler game, pretty easy to pick up and grasp. And one thing that I really liked about this game in particular was its artwork. It's really playful, childish, cartoony, and it's something that actually can draw others into the game. Because when a game doesn't look intimidating, then it invites people to come in and enjoy it and want to take part in it. In fact, I've managed to actually teach my my very young niece this game, which has been really fun because it is that easy to kind of learn and grasp. And again, because the artwork is kind of inviting in that way, then she also really had a good time with looking at the cards and things like that. Another thing that I enjoy about the game is that it's got a nice linen finish on the cards. And if you've known one thing about me so far, guys, is that I like it when developers and designers put a little bit of extra oomph into what they're accomplishing with their games, and linen finish on cards is a definite must for me. So for this Sushi Go game, a reason why you might want to buy it is because you're looking for a stocking stuffer, something for the holidays, or maybe just something for a lighthearted game night because you don't want to get a heavier weight game dirty or messy or something like that. This game, it's pretty inexpensive. I want to say most places have it for probably less than 10 bucks, which is pretty cool. A reason why you may not want to get Sushi Go is I guess in the card drafting breadth of things, it's just okay. It's not groundbreaking in the genre in any way. It's not doing new things. You're drafting fun-looking sushi-type cards, and sometimes that's just okay. Anyway, guys, those are my thoughts. You should add this little thing, this little game Sushi Go, into your collection if you just want to kind of flesh it out a little bit more, or if you're trying to get someone introduced into a card drafting style mechanic of games and you want to introduce them pretty early or young before you bring out something more complex like a Seven Wonders or the like. Anyway, guys, I appreciate all the support. Leave a subscribe if you like what we're doing over here. And anyway, until next time, thanks for watching.